Here I'll discuss white balance and how to correct a color cast resulting from an incorrect white balance in Lightroom. So on your camera, you have white balance options. You have auto, custom, tungsten is this first icon here at the 3000 Kelvin mark, then fluorescent, sunny at about 5200, at 6000 Kelvin, cloudy or flash, and then at about 7000 Kelvin, shade. Kelvin is the measurement used for light temperature or color temperature. The 3000 is very warm. 5000 daylight is considered neutral, and then shade, cloudy, 6 and 7000 are blue types of light. So when you choose any of those presets within your camera, the camera is anticipating that you want it to look, quote, normal, right? So what it does is adds the opposite color to neutralize that. So if you set your camera to shade, the camera will automatically add yellow to an anticipated blue looking photo. And if the actual light is not shady, then you might have a yellow color cast. With a tungsten light, for example, that's very yellow, the camera will add a lot of blue. So it will look somewhat normal if you're shooting indoors with a warm tungsten light. But if you're shooting in daylight on a tungsten setting, your image could result in being very blue. Okay. So let's see how that translates to an image. With a RAW file, this is actually one of the most correctable after the fact things that you can do within your photograph in Lightroom. With a RAW file, you'll have all of the white balance settings, or most of them, that you have in your actual camera. So let's say that you shot using a tungsten white balance setting in daylight, and that was a mistake. It's just too blue. You could go ahead here from the drop down and choose daylight. And there you go, the color is gone. I'm just going to undo that to show you a couple of other ways that you can remove the color cast resulting from a white balance setting that doesn't match your intentions. Here in the basic panel of the Develop module in Lightroom is a little eyedropper, and it's called the White Balance Selector. If you simply click on that and hover over a place in the image where you think there should be no color at all, so in other words, something should be perfectly white, gray, or black, neutral, no color at all, it will remove the color from that area and also remove the same amounts of that contaminated color, if you will, from the other areas in the photo. If you see here, the oranges are somewhat greenish looking. If I hover the white balance selector over the orange, it's assuming I want that to be gray or without color, so it's going to add even more blue. But if I hover over something that's supposed to be white, you can see in the navigator what your results are going to be before going ahead and clicking. Okay, so to make the adjustment, just go ahead and click and you're done. Let's say that you didn't click exactly in a place you'd like. Maybe you have to make other adjustments. You could simply try the white balance selector again, or you could go straight to these temp and tint sliders. Temp effectively allows you to take away yellow by adding blue, or take away blue by adding yellow. The tint sliders are green and magenta in scale, and that has more to do with fluorescent lights. And I'm not talking about the common fluorescent spiral light bulbs that we use. I'm talking more about the overhead fluorescent tube lights. They tend to emit a greenish light, so that would use the tint slider to balance those. So here the image is just a bit too yellow still. I could go ahead and just take the temp slider toward blue until it's looking natural. Okay, so it goes all the way to 50,000 and then to 2,000 temp. Okay. So about right there is good. You can start using the eyedropper. Here there's just a bit too much blue still, so I'm just going to use my best judgment. And there you go. I can look at the before and after view, and there's a comparison. Okay. So here I've simulated having shot at a shade setting. So the let's see,